Peace to the guys and the goddesses out there coming at you. I know it's been a while, but here we are. Hope everybody's had a good and productive and safe and blessed week. So last night I watched a heavy duty movie recommended by Brother Bobby, Planet of the Apes, the original 1960s version with Charles Heston. If you are into your studies, whether it be metaphysics or trying to get a better understanding of why things are the way they are, why you may look at things differently in this world versus others, you got to check this movie out. He recommended it in one of his lectures, and by far one of my top 5 metaphysical movies. Granted, the movie came out almost 50 years ago, so the acting, makeup, ignore all that. You have to listen to the dialogue and the messages in the movie. Not to give it away, but it basically talks about human characteristics, human nature, and basically they go to this planet where apes run the show, and humans are pretty much the animals, for better lack of terms. And so the apes pretty much have a humanistic mindset because they're in charge, and they've seen humans as a lesser or an inferior, not able to do things on basically a mundane, almost below an animalistic level. But you gotta listen to the dialogue. It's very key because, as you know, at one point in time, the powers that be were not in charge, and other cultures, other groups were, and everything's been flipped. And in the film, pretty much humans were in charge at one point over the animals, but when they get on the planet, things again are reversed. So the animals or the apes are in charge. So the characters are trying to figure out what happened. And I don't want to give away the whole film. Again, if you've seen it, you already know how it's going to go down. But if you haven't, that'll be for you. The ending be a wow moment. So this whole time, this main character is trying to figure out, well, dang, what happened? How did I, how did we get to this low of a level? Why did we, progress or regress down to a animalistic type stage, and what made the apes run the show. So at the very end of the movie, he goes off to try to find out what happened. He tries to go off to the forbidden zone. The forbidden zone basically is not allowed to. It's supposed to be a dry land, a wasteland. It was destroyed hundreds of years ago, according to the apes. So one of the main leaders of the apes lets him go off. And so they asked the leader, what would he find? And so they zoom in on the leader, and so he'll find his destiny. This is key because a lot of your religions basically tell you to stay away from certain things. You are forbidden to ask questions. You are forbidden to think, have a mind of your own. You are forbidden to question. You're afraid of evil, the devil. You're afraid of, the spook or the quote unquote God that's in the sky. You're afraid of the quote unquote devil that's underground. But once you are able to challenge yourself to push forward, you'll seek answers that you otherwise may, one, not have known, or even two, you've been lied to. Or as Morpheus told Neo, you're living in a dream world because you've been told one thing, and in all actual reality, it's something else. So in the film, the forbidden zone can pretty much equate to those things I mentioned earlier, you know, evil, the devil, you know, going against the grain, challenging what you've been told, seeking the truth. That's all forbidden in this matrix that we live in now. So in the film, no one's ever gone there. He's the first one to go, and then he finds out what really happened. And there's other things in the movie. There's a ape that's a teenager. Charles Heston's character basically tells him, you know, be wary of anybody that's over the age of 30. Why is that key? Well, in the 60s, you know, when you were 30, that's the equivalent of our 50. And most people start to get stuck in their ways. So, or they have a self-interest. They can be misguiding you, or they can want to tell you something for their benefit. So he makes that statement to him very key. They also have a scene in there when they're talking about the laws that apes were given, kind of like the 10 Commandments, you know, the whole Moses story. So that's key. They talk about the humans as far as what they're capable of, how they are, what they're able to do. Still relates to us now to this day. But again, you have to look between the lines and see things for what they are. So just want to share this video and encourage any and everybody that's on a path to add that to their encyclopedia of knowledge. Feel free to hit me up if you like this video, and we'll be talking to you soon. Peace and blessings.